diminishing marginal utility states that as a consumer consumes more and more units of a commodity, the marginal utility derived from the additional units go on falling. Isn't it? Now, you can see an example. Suppose you are hungry. You eat an ice cream. The first ice cream give you a great satisfaction because you are fond of ice cream. You have another, you will notice that the second unit of ice cream give you relatively lesser satisfaction, and with further consumption of ice cream will keep falling, may fall to zero. That means 0 months term, no satisfaction, and that can also turn into negative. That is, there is a decrease in the satisfaction. So with consumption of additional unit of the same commodity occurs due to the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, now I have to give an example. All of you write down this example. Suppose the examples I gave to you yesterday. Units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Total utility, which is measured in utils, 10, 18, 24, 28, 30, 30, 28, 24, 18. Okay, so this is given. We can find out marginal utility from here. So it will be 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6. Can you see? Now, this marginal utility is falling. Throughout it is falling. But this fall in marginal utility, I can divide it in 3 parts. In this part, first part, mu falls positively. Total utility increases at this point. So total utility increases. Now here at this part, marginal utility is 0. Total utility maximum. Just see. And this part, marginal utility negative, and total utility decreases. Just see. Okay. Now, if we diagram, if we draw a diagram, first we are measuring here units of the commodity consumption. Here I am measuring total utility, and just vertical to the diagram, again I am measuring here marginal utility. Now just look at the diagram. When total utility increases, now at 0 level of consumption, total utility is also 0. So total utility is 0 starting from this point, and it goes on increasing, goes on increasing, goes on increasing, reaches maximum, and then falls. So we get a total utility curve like this. Here at this point, total utility is maximum. Now, if we look at marginal utility, that marginal utility falls from the first unit. It reaches 0 and then goes on negative. Now, where it goes negative, just see where TU is maximum, marginal utility is 0. So it is the same point where 2 TU is maximum. Here MU is 0. Now, in some book, you will find that these two diagrams has been combined in a single diagram. मतलब marginal utility यहाँ से ही ये diagram में करते हैं. But I always prefer to make another diagram for marginal utility. Try to do this so it will be easier for you. Now यहाँ तक समझ में आया क्या बताओ, अगर नहीं आया तो मैं फिर से समझाऊंगी. I have just drawn the diagram according to my table. और कुछ नहीं, बस टेबल के हिसाब से मैंने डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया है. Total utility, you can see it is increasing, increasing at 6 units. This is at 6 unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6. 6 units पे देखो, total utility is maximum. Now, 5th unit पे भी तुम देख सकते हो total utility maximum, but here MU is not 0. And after this level, total utility falls. So we will consider this only. And this 6 units may he marginal utility is 0. So total utility is taking a shape of inverted U. Inverted U मतलब उल्टा U. And marginal utility is taking the shape, it is a downward sloping curve. Can you see? I have just interpreted the table into a diagram. From these diagram, we will make a relationship between the total utility and the marginal utility. Write down the relationship. Relationship between, give a heading, relationship between total utility and marginal utility. Number 1, write it down. Number 1, as long as mu is positive, total utility increases. Now just see, I'm just interpreting this relationship into some points. Now when marginal utility falls positively, matlab marginal utility is falling but it has a positive value, then total utility increasing at a diminishing rate. Diminishing rate कैसे पता चल रहा है? Because ये decrease हो रहा है. Number 2, when marginal utility is 0, total utility is maximum and constant. देखो, marginal utility 0 में total utility maximum and constant. Okay, so this is shown by this point. This point, saturation. This point is called the point of saturation. Write it down. That is, the consumer gets maximum amount of satisfaction over here. Third point, when marginal utility is negative, total utility decreases. Look at the diagram and the table and write. All of you have written the third point?
Yes, ma'am.
Now fourth point. Fourth point is total utility is summation of marginal utility. Total utility is summation of marginal utility. Just add 10 plus 8, 18, 18 plus 6, 24, 24 plus 4, 28, 28 plus 2, 30. So you can write total utility is summation of marginal utility and write this TU is equal to summation of MU. Write it down with 4 points. Also, marginal utility can be derived from total utility. And also marginal utility can be derived from total utility. That is, MUN is equal to TUN minus TUN minus 1. Marginal utility can also be derived from total utility. So marginal utility, how it is derived? It is derived from TUN minus TUN minus 1. Fifth point. Marginal utility curve is the slope of total utility curve. It shows that if you increase 1 unit of a consumption, then how much there will be change in the total utility. So it is showing the slope of total utility curve. So these are 5 relationships we can draw from the diagram and the table between total utility and marginal utility. So if we look at the diagram and if we consider only the marginal utility, then we get a marginal utility curve which is negatively sloped, continuously decreasing, reaches 0 and goes negative. That means consumer goes on consuming more and more commodity. The additional benefit he derives from the additional unit of commodity goes on falling. Depicted the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. And there is a law which is called law of diminishing marginal utility. But let us see whether there is any exception to the law or not. That means the law states that as a consumer consumes more and more commodity, that with the time passes, then he will feel a dissatisfaction in that commodity. Now, let us discuss about the exception to the law. इस लॉ का कुछ एक्सेप्शंस है? कैन एनीवन टेल मी? ऐसा कौन सा चीज है जो कि तुम जितना कंज्यूम करोगे तुम्हारा कंज्यूम करने का चाहत और बढ़ता जाएगा, कम नहीं होता जाएगा? कैन यू गिव एन एग्जांपल?
Something
An
valuable,
addict,
gold, silver, money.
ओके, और क्या अभिज्ञा कुछ बोल रहे थे?
an addict,
हाँ,
for example, an addict, जो
I didn't get you.
ओवरडोज करता है मैम, जिसको कोई चीज पर्टिकुलर चीज का एडिक्शन
मैम
होता है।
ड्रग्स की
हाँ,
बात कर रहा
addiction.
है
Yes,
वो।
yes, yes, yes. Both are correct. So first example I can give you, that is, suppose you have certain hobbies. You have a hobby of stamp collection, or you have a hobby of antique goods collection, old coin collections. So every additional unit gives you more satisfaction. Marginal utility will not fall. Marginal utility will increase here with each additional units. So the law is applicable here. Consider the case of the drunkards. Is the law applicable for a drunkard? Because intoxication increases with every successive dose of liquor. It may be cigarette, it may be drugs. That if you have certain kind of addiction, so your satisfaction level never decreases. More and more you consume. So here also the law does not apply. We can consider the miseries. In case of a miser, it is pointed out that the greed increases with every additional acquisition of money, which she was asking that gold, silver, जितना ही तुम acquisition करते जाओ, it does not decrease the satisfaction. If anyone having a passion of music, poetry, these are commonly experienced that a repeat hearing gives better satisfaction than the first one. Reading, this also comes under hobbies. So all these are certain cases where the law doesn't hold. The law of diminishing marginal utility doesn't hold at all. Got it? This is the law of diminishing marginal utility.